Hi, I'm Jennifer Beckstrand, and this is my Valentine's Day special. Hi, readers. I hope you're having a great Valentine's Day. I brought my daughters and my daughter-in-law in to talk about favorite movies, books, or TV shows that are romantic without being romances. I think you're going to love some of our picks. Please comment in the comment section below if you have others that you think we should include on our list. It's just really fun. We have so much fun. And here are my daughters and daughter-in-law. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. My daughters and daughter-in-law are so kind. They always indulge me in doing this book club. And Haley has suddenly disappeared. Oh, there Haley's got her child, and he is darling. So he's gonna discuss movies with us and books. So what we wanted to do tonight is talk about movies and books that are not considered romances, but are still very romantic. And if you don't know like what a romance is a love story that ends happily. That's about as simple as I can get about what a romance is. A love story can be a romance, but love stories also can end very sadly. So that's why I like romances much better than I like love stories. So there you go. So we are going to talk about just favorite books and movies that we think are romantic, but are not necessarily romances. So I just thought we'd have everybody share one with us and we can go around and talk about it. And so Kennedy, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
So the first one that I thought of was a book, and it's called The Goose Girl. I don't know if you guys have read that series, but it's like my all-time favorite series, like ever since I was a kid. Like I love,
Really?
yes, like I've always just been obsessed with it. And I think it is so romantic. Like each book like has a different character in the series, and they each have their own romance with like a different person, which is really cute. And so yeah, and the first one's really sweet. It's like a prince and this princess, and um like the whole thing isn't about their like romance, but it's just about her like kind of trying to become this like queen and take back her kingdom type thing. And um they fall in love obviously, but they fall in love like under the guise of like she's like the goose girl. He doesn't know she's a princess, and it's kind of that. I don't know if that's a trope, but it's kind of like that. And then yeah, they fall in love not knowing that they're both like royalty, and then find out later, and then they're like, oh, we can be together. So it's really cute. I loved it. Like
So
all,
cute. I loved that book, but I never read the other ones. I only read Goose Girl, and it
yeah,
was
also,
really good.
yeah,
That,
all of them are so good.
yeah. Have any of you guys read that one? I feel like
Oh no,
no.
I read Goose Girl. I just haven't read the whole series.
Oh, okay.
Should put it on your list.
Yeah,
Especially you, Kate, you love books, so do it. It's
on
so
it.
they're all so good. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, well, one that I wanted to share was The Lord of the Rings, and there are a lot of romances in there. Aragorn and Arwen,
I was
but
like, what did you just call him? Come on, Mom. You're an OG Lord of the Rings fan.
It's true. I think my favorite romance doesn't really appear in the movie. It appears in the extended version, but in the book, it's Faramir and Éowyn, and it's so romantic how they get together, and he says all the right things. Anyway, so that's one that I love. In the movie, I don't know if in the movie, you, I guess you get a little hint of it. In the extended version, there's definitely this is a romance, but in the regular movie, I don't know if you even can
They
tell that they're
exchange a
going to end up.
few they exchange a few glances in the non-extended, and they have like one conversation, I think.
Yeah.
But the movies focus more on how she's kind of in love with Aragorn,
Hmm.
and then Faramir just kind of comes in at the end.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Haley? And Bridge.
Hello. Gosh, well, I have a couple, but one I was gonna mention, which I don't think Mom has seen, and maybe her viewers won't want to watch either, but Game of Thrones has one of my favorite love stories between Jon Snow and Ygritte. And it's just incredibly romantic. It's an enemies to lovers trope where, he's actually a prisoner and she's sort of tasked with bringing him in, I guess. And it takes a while, but they fall in love and it's so romantic. And it makes it even more romantic that in real life, they met on the set and they are married with 2 children today. So that's why their
so romantic.
on-screen chemistry is so good, because they were truly falling in love in real life as they were filming. So
That's very cool.
I love it. But obviously it's not a love story if you've seen Game of Thrones. It's, war and bloodshed and power. So, but it's really, really good.
Oh, good. Okay, how about you, Kate?
Well, I love this category because romance lovers know that any any story can be a love story if you just look hard enough.
Elton John said that.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I have this like joke that I have these like this status of like book boyfriends, and if you've like entered my book boyfriend status, it means I just think your life, it was just so romantic and I love you. And there's one that I got that is not well, there's several that are not a romance, but Tale of Two Cities, Sydney Carden is an all-time favorite character of mine. It's not a romance, but my goodness, it's a far, far better thing that I go to do now than I've ever done. Is like one of my favorite moments of all time. So love that. And it's not a romance, but it is romance. So there you go.
Oh yeah, and he does it for her, and it's just like, oh, that's just the best thing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that she'll be happy.
I love it.
So I don't ever read books. I've read like 4 books in my whole life. Other than yours, Mom. I have read most of
I'm
yours.
sure.
So I don't know. I thought a lot about this week, but one of my actual very favorite love stories is from a Pixar movie. From the movie Up with Carl and Ellie at the beginning of the movie. I just love how the writers of that movie depict like their whole life together, and in really just like a short 5-minute span, but it really is like the theme of the whole movie. Getting to Adventure Falls because that's what Ellie wanted to do, but then in the end Carl realizes that she filled their adventure book with just their life together, and you see all of the things that they like experience, right? It's like it goes over most kids' head, right, that they struggle with like infertility and they're never able to have children, and how she's kind of like this spunky, fun, eccentric woman who brings Carl out of his shell a little bit and helps him, kind of find that adventurous side of him. And so I don't know. I just love the whole like beginning montage with the 2 of them when they meet as little kids. I love that so much. In the clubhouse when she's just like, "You're gonna be my best friend," and and he's just like, "Okay," and then he like breaks his arm, I think, and it's just like so good. But yeah, just like the end of the story, how he realizes that she didn't need to go somewhere grand and adventurous, but she loved him so much and their life together was their adventure. So
Oh, that's such a
That
good
was
one.
on my list, Jessica.
Really?
Mhm.
Because
I
everything
love
in that
that one.
movie is so tender and just, I mean, you're crying the first 5 minutes. And the thing I love about that too is it's such great backstory. He's not just a grumpy old man who doesn't want to sell his house. Everything, all his memories are in that house with this love of his life. And so tender.
yeah, and just how she made him better, which I think is
Yeah.
like the ultimate goal of love. So yes, while the movie is about Carl and Russell and finding Kevin on this random, Paradise Falls, I really think Ellie is kind of the main character. And I don't know, their romance is just, it's really beautiful. It just shows that you can find love in what is maybe seemingly mundane. I feel that way often, right? That my life isn't this like grand romantic movie or this romantic novel, but I find love, with my husband, my children, and just like the everyday adventures that we have together.
Yeah. Okay, Kennedy, what's your next one?
Okay, so the next one that I thought it was just like super random. I like this book, but it's not like I wasn't like, oh, this is my favorite book, but I was like, oh, that's so romantic. Was actually Hunger Games and Katniss and Peeta. I just think it's so like they're so romantic and like he like will do anything for her the whole book. Ever since they were little and he gave her some bread, like he just loved her. And then I think it takes her a lot of time to come to the realization like she loves him too, but it's like such a deep love. And they go through so many like things together, like so many trials, so many like, scary, horrible things, but like they make it out, and at the very end, like they end up, getting, I think they get married, or like they're together and they have kids. And even though they have like, still struggles, like, nightmares and all that kind of stuff, they still like love each other and like help each other through that. And so I think that's just like a very like raw kind of love. And that's just what I thought of when I thought of like not a romance, but like so much romance was Hunger Games. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
yes. I had that on my list too. Did you
It's
too,
on my
Haley?
list too.
really, there you go.
Yeah. Except, I really like that Hemsworth brother. Which one is he?
Do
Liam.
you like him? If you don't even know his name is Liam? Just
Just
kidding.
Gail. I remember his Gail. I
Yeah.
just really liked him and I thought he was
Good look.
oh, maybe we should pick him. But it's true. Peter was just like so devoted to her, and
Yes.
even when
Mom, we
maybe
will not allow any Gale apologists.
that's great. I love that one. Okay, Haley, what have you got next?
Well, I had Hunger Games and Up on my list, but luckily I had one more,
Great minds think alike.
which is, the greatest TV show ever made, The Office. And just, a show about coworkers, and it's hilarious, but it has more than one incredibly romantic storylines, obviously. Okay, he really wants the keyboard. Obviously, Jim and Pam are just such a fun TV romance and couple through the whole show. But I also really love Michael Scott and Holly and their love story too. So
Like
I,
how they always talk like Yoda to each
yeah,
other. That's like my favorite.
they found, their match and their weird person as well. And that was a great end for Michael Scott, to find his match. And yeah, so I
I
love The
have to admit,
Office.
I didn't even know that he had. I mean, I knew about Jan. I've never seen an episode
With
with
Holly,
Holly.
oh,
So
Mom, you
I
would
quit
love it.
watching
She
towards the end there.
it's like a multi-season because she comes and then she
She
leaves.
replaces
Comes
Toby.
and yeah, she's the
Oh.
HR rep, and you got to watch it, Mom. It's
So you
so
can imagine how disappointed when she leaves because Toby comes back and Michael hates Toby.
I remember
exactly.
that. Okay, sorry, we got kicked out, so everyone's in a different position now, which is just great. So, Kate.
Okay, my next one is kind of along the same lines as Haley. One of my favorite on-screen romances of all time is from Parks and Rec with Leslie Knope and Ben Wyatt. I think it's relationship goals always. And so I wanted to do a book and a TV show, and Parks and Rec for sure is not a romance, but one of my favorite romance lines, storylines.
Oh, I love that. I need to, we've started watching it again. I mean, we're only on the first season, so I need to keep
Oh,
going.
it just gets better. It gets so good. You'll love it. You'll love Ben Wyatt. He's the best.
Okay, Haley, I think. No, we went. Okay, sorry, Jessica. Sorry, you're all in a different order now.
Now we're out of order, Mom. Jeez Louise.
Yep.
No, I don't know. Yes, I love Ben and Leslie too so much. They're probably my favorite like television romance. I love them so much. I don't know. Another one that I thought of, I feel like I'm kind of going out of the box on all of these, but is the movie Life is Beautiful about the Holocaust and right? It's about this man and this woman. They meet, they fall in love, they have a child. Then he's separated from her and he's with his son. And so he makes this concentration camp into a game for his son to distract him from like the evil that's all around him and the bad things that are happening.
Mm.
And I don't know, I think the romance between the husband and the wife is so beautiful. But I also just love the like familial love that you see for this father and this son. And he ultimately ends up saving his son's life, and then he is reunited with his mom in the end. So I don't know, it kind of goes back to, again, what love really means to me, right? Like sacrificing everything for the people that you love. And ultimately he sacrifices his life for his son so that he can live. So that's one that I always just have thought that it's just such a powerful representation of what love is. Maybe not so much in a romantic sense, but just, yeah, love for your family, love for your children. That one makes me cry every time I watch that one too.
Oh man. Well, that part even where they arrest him and she says, I'm going with him. You know, she voluntarily does that.
Yeah, she doesn't have to go because she's not a Jew.
Yeah.
And yeah, she decides to go with him.
The only other one that I thought of was like Princess Bride. And that one's very romantic, but like it's really like a action adventure, like comedy. But yeah, but it's so romantic. And like, I don't know, I think it's funny because like at the beginning, you know, the grandpa's reading it to his grandson. He's like, this is not like romance. Don't worry, don't worry. Like there won't be too much kissing. And then the end there's like kissing and it's like so romantic and the kid's finally on board with like how cute it is. And he's like, no, keep reading, it's cute. And but yeah, the whole time, you know, he's just like, I'll do anything for you. Wesley's like, I'll do anything for you. And he just like goes to all these lengths to find her and save her and bring her back. And they love each other. So very romantic.
That's a lovely one. When, you know, the very first, when he says, as you wish, and he's like, what he's really saying was,
I love you.
I love you. And then at the very end, when he, you know, his grandson says, will you come back and read it tomorrow? And he says, as you wish. Oh, I love that part.
So good.
One that I love is Star Wars. The 4, 5, and 6 with Leia and Han
Princess
Solo.
Leia and Han Solo. Yeah.
Yes. There's Allison and I, we always debated because she always liked Han Solo and I was a Luke Skywalker fan. But and then the other one where you know, he's being frozen in cryo, whatever, and she says, I love you, and he says, I know. That's one of my favorite parts.
That's so good.
Yeah. Anyway, I just think that's so romantic.
Well, I think there's been one major one that you've missed, Mom.
Yeah, it's my
Well,
movie, Mom.
Yeah, I'm still getting there.
Okay.
okay.
But I'm not gonna steal your thunder. You better say
Tell
it.
us, Mom. Tell us
That's
what it is.
my
It was on the
TV show and my
list, but
book.
you know.
Okay, well, I can tell you right now. So one of my favorite romantic movies is The Terminator.
And when we tell people that, they don't believe us, but
No,
it is
and this
so
is why we're
romantic.
even doing this category, I think, probably.
It is.
Because this
It
started
is.
when we were like little. She'd be like, this movie is so romantic. And we're like, what? And then we watched
Really?
it, and now we all think it's romantic. I think it's
It is.
incredibly romantic. So there you go.
Well, I have a very vivid memory of this is when we lived in Chicago. Gary was going to graduate school and we lived in married student housing, and it was this teeny little apartment. And I had Nicole, she was 2, and I was pregnant with Jessica. And we only had one car. It was just, oh my goodness. It was a good time, but you know, it was one of those hard times. And it was Gary's brother who said, oh, you got to see Terminator. It's so cool. And I don't know why I rented it one day. I walked to the video store, rented it, walked back. And the love story where he comes back in time for her and he gives his life for her.
No, oh yeah, keep going.
Oh, it's so romantic, and I loved it so much. And so I probably, and all I watched were the parts between those two. I'd always skip the sex scene, but I'd watch, you know, just the parts.
What's the point, Mom?
And I probably rented that video 30 times while we lived there, because it was just
See,
my
we just have to
indulgence.
say this.
Part of
For
our
the-
family culture now is really is what she's saying.
But this habit of my mom only watching the parts of the movies that she likes is also a part of our family culture. Where the 6-hour Pride and Prejudice version, I have probably seen the part between Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy at the end maybe 800 times, but I've only seen that movie in its entirety, maybe 3 or 4, because my mom would just watch, we would just watch that part over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was the
it was
most
not
romantic
an
part.
uncommon occurrence for Mom to be like, "Do you guys want to just get all of the best kisses from all the romances and just watch them and then decide which one is the best one?" Sure. Yeah, we do.
Yep, we have totally done that. Well, you know, if you can't watch all 6 hours, and so it's like, okay, we just got to pick our favorite parts, you know. And in those days, it was, you know, video, so you had to rewind it, fast forward it. So great. Anyway, so that is my literally probably my favorite non-romance romantic movie. It's so romantic. I still adore Michael Biehn, who's the actor. I still adore him. He hasn't been in very much else, but
He was in Aliens, wasn't he?
he was in Aliens. He was very good in that. He actually showed up in an episode of The Mandalorian as
Well,
a
that's
bad guy.
random.
Mhm. Very random. Anyway, but I noticed him because I watched him a lot. Everyone, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
being here. I'm sorry we didn't see the other babies.
Oh, they're around. Yeah, you'll probably
Kate
hear
has a baby, Kennedy has a baby, but we did get to see Ridge, and he is
I have
happily
no babies.
enjoying his lunch.
He's just eating this marker. So.
Readers, we would love to hear what you think are some great non-romance romantic movies in the comment section. And everybody, happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Thank you.